Rome, it has been a question of theological debate and liturgical interpretation for years, and now Pope Francis has joined the discussion. Does the Lord's Prayer, Christendom's resonant petition to the Almighty, need an update? In a new television interview, Pope Francis said the common rendering of one line in the prayer, "Lead us not into temptation," was not a good translation from ancient texts. "Do not let us fall into temptation," he suggested, might be better because God does not lead people into temptation, Satan does. A father doesn't do that, the Pope said. He helps you get up right away. What induces into temptation is Satan. In essence, the Pope said, the prayer, from the book of Matthew, is asking God, when Satan leads us into temptation, "You please, give me a hand." French Catholics adopted such a linguistic change this week, and the Pope suggested that Italian Catholics might want to follow suit. While Francis' remarks were not a decree to change the prayer, he has once again set off a debate on how far a pope can or should go in shaking up long-standing tradition, and even doctrine. He has already angered Catholic traditionalists by reconsidering the prohibition on granting communion to the divorced and remarried, and by taking on issues like climate change and economic inequality, as well as with famously freewheeling remarks like, "Who am I to judge?" about gay people. Francis' idea on changing the Lord's Prayer could unsettle some Catholics, who learn from childhood to recite the prayer, also called the Our Father. Philip F. Lawler, editor of Catholic World News, a conservative website, said that while the Pope's critique about the translation of the line isn't unreasonable, if Francis actually intends to change the prayer, it's very upsetting because it is so deeply ingrained for Catholics. Pope Francis has made a habit of saying things that throw people into confusion, and this is one of them. Mr. Lawler said it just makes you wonder, where does it stop, what's up for grabs? It's cumulative unease. Some conservative evangelicals were also quick to respond. "I was shocked and appalled," R. Albert Mohler Jr., president of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, said in a phone interview. "This is the Lord's Prayer. It is not, and has never been, the Pope's prayer, and we have the very words of Jesus in the New Testament. It is those very words that the Pope proposes to change. It is not only deeply problematic, it's almost breathtaking." A commentary on the website of TV 2000, the ecclesiastical television station in Rome that interviewed the Pope, acknowledged that the Pope's words had stirred controversy. But it said, it is worth recalling that this question is not new. This is not a mere whim for Francis, it added. The basic question, the commentary said, is whether God brings humans into temptation or whether it is human weakness to surrender to the blandishments of the evil one. Francis recently took the controversial step of changing church law to give local bishops' conferences more authority over translations of the liturgy. He was responding, in part, to widespread discontent with English translations that were literally correct but awkward and unfamiliar for worshippers.